There is a backyard right now, somewhere in rural Ohio, where a woman is spending $94 a month on feed for a flock of 12 birds that produced 31 eggs last week. She bought those birds from a catalog that called them gentle, family-friendly, perfect for beginners. And what that catalog never told her is that she is running a charity for a $47 billion poultry supply industry that profits every single month she keeps those birds alive and producing nothing. These breeds didn't become popular because they were the best. They became popular because they created the deepest dependency. They didn't dominate the backyard market because they worked. They dominated it because they could be sold to you, and sold to you again, and sold to you every season after that. The antagonist here is not one company. It is an entire architecture. A $47 billion poultry and feed supply industry that has spent decades steering backyard farmers toward breeds that look good in a catalog photo, ship well in a box, and consume feed at industrial rates while delivering sub-industrial results. Every bag of layer pellets you buy is recurring revenue, and every supplemental feeder, every molt recovery additive, every production boost you purchase because your birds just aren't laying enough. That is the system working exactly as designed. When a breed is self-sufficient, when it forages aggressively, lays consistently through the shoulder seasons, and doesn't require specialty inputs, it generates no dependency. What cannot be sold is what gets erased. The breeds that were buried weren't the failures, they were the threats. The ones being pushed to you right now in every feed store and hatchery newsletter are the ones that keep you paying. And you've been paying without knowing what you lost. The data goes back further than most people realize. In 1942, the Victory Flock program mobilized American homesteaders to raise chickens for national food resilience, and the breeds selected for that program were chosen specifically for low input, high output performance birds that could forage on grassland and still produce in winter. Then, in 1945, the Chicken of Tomorrow contest reshaped the entire poultry industry overnight, redirecting decades of breeding effort away from dual-purpose heritage birds and toward single-trait commodity breeds, optimized for confinement production. The backyard farmer was not the target market after 1945. The industrial integrator was. By 1949, the Ohio Agricultural Experiment Station had published deep litter research demonstrating that certain heritage breeds could maintain their own floor environment through natural behavior, scratching, aerating, generating enough microbial heat to suppress pathogens without a single purchased product. The data was right there, gathering dust in university archives, and the supply catalog never mentioned it once. The 2007 Mother Earth News Pastured Egg Study confirmed what those archives already knew. Eggs from hens with genuine forage access contained 2/3 more vitamin A, twice the omega-3 fatty acids, 3 times the vitamin E, and 7 times the beta-carotene compared to commercial eggs. Penn State published a confirmation study in 2010. And the industry did not respond by changing its recommendations. It responded by continuing to sell you the same 3 breeds it always had. This video is just the surface. I've collected everything the poultry supply industry doesn't want you to know, all inside the Proven Ground Vault. The Heritage Breed Replacement Guide, the Zero Input Forager Setup Manual, the Seasonal Laying Cycle Blueprint, the Feed Cost Elimination System, and the Breed-by-Breed Profit and Loss Breakdown across 14 documented varieties, all in one flowing resource with over 10 complete guides. No fluff. Straight to the point. The link is in the description. But stay here, you're just getting started. The first breed draining your account is the Silkie. Walk into any farm store in spring and you'll see them under the heat lamp, that impossibly soft, fur-like plumage that looks less like a chicken and more like something a child would carry to school. Marketed as docile, as great with kids, as ideal starter birds. What they don't tell you is that a Silkie hen will average between 80 and 120 eggs per year on a good year, and will go broody so frequently that stretches of 3 to 6 weeks of zero production are not unusual. They're the norm. The math is not subtle. Cost per egg from a Silkie running on commercial layer feed lands between 58 and 64 cents, while a single Black Australorp hen under the same feed conditions produces 250 to 300 eggs annually at just 14 cents per egg. You are paying 4 times more per egg for a bird that was bred for exhibition, not production, and the hatchery that sold her to you knew that before it shipped. The Silkie was never buried. It was amplified because a bird that broods constantly, lays minimally, and requires specialized nutrition is a bird that generates recurring revenue. A bird that cannot be monetized doesn't get a page in the spring catalog. That is not an accident. That is a business model. If you've made it this far, you already know more about true flock economics than 99% of backyard chicken keepers in this country. The second breed is the Polish, specifically the white-crested black Polish, that dramatic top-hatted bird with the explosion of feathers erupting from its skull like a botanical specimen. The one the industry loves selling because it photographs beautifully and moves feed. What the catalog photograph doesn't show you is what those crests do in practice. The feathers obstruct the bird's vision so severely that Polish hens startle constantly, struggle to find their waterers in low light, and experience chronic stress responses that directly suppress laying hormones. A Polish hen averages 150 to 200 eggs annually in ideal conditions. And ideal conditions for a Polish bird require more active management than almost any other breed on this list. They are predator vulnerable to a degree that forces additional infrastructure costs, and they require crest trims several times a year just to see adequately. The breed was developed in the Netherlands in the 16th century as a novelty bird, not a working bird, and it was never designed for homestead self-sufficiency. It was designed to be looked at, and looking at is something the supply industry has been charging you for. One bag of specialty feed at a time, while your egg production numbers quietly disappoint you every single week. Now stay with me, because this next profile is the one that makes the whole system click into place. The third breed is the Ayam Cemani, the all-black Indonesian chicken. Black feathers, black skin, black bones. Listed in hatchery catalogs at $50 to $199 per chick depending on bloodline. Called the rarest chicken in the world. Called mystical. Called a premium investment for serious breeders. What they have not been called, in any honest accounting, is a productive homestead bird. Ayam Cemani hens lay an estimated 60 to 100 eggs per year. In cycles, a burst of 20 to 30 eggs, then a complete stop for months. The cost per egg from an Ayam Cemani, factoring in acquisition cost amortized over a 3-year productive life plus feed, exceeds $2.10 per egg, $2.10 for a small, cream-colored egg from a bird that looks like it was dipped in ink. The Ayam Cemani is not erased knowledge, it is manufactured desire, a breed that was patented into exclusivity, priced into aspiration, and sold as heritage when it is the furthest thing from functional heritage production. It exists on the market because it cannot be replicated cheaply, which means every buyer is a captive customer. That is not a vault. That is a trap dressed in feathers. What was actually buried is the opposite of everything those three breeds represent. The Buckeye, developed in 1896 by Nettie Metcalf of Warren, Ohio, the only American chicken breed created by a woman, is cold-hardy to temperatures that would kill a Polish bird outright. Lays 150 to 200 large brown eggs annually, and forages with a low, purposeful stride that covers ground like a working animal built for exactly this purpose. The Delaware is developed in 1940 by George Ellis specifically as a dual-purpose bird for the mid-Atlantic homestead. Reaches a dressed weight of 6 to 8 pounds and lays up to 280 eggs annually. With a calm temperament that reduces stress-related production drops. These breeds don't have catalog pages printed in color with lifestyle photography. They don't trend, they don't go viral, and they generate no recurring revenue because a homesteader who builds a self-sustaining flock around a Buckeye or a Delaware stops needing what the industry sells. That is why they were erased. Not because they failed, because they worked too completely to profit from. These breeds didn't disappear into obscurity, 'cause backyard farmers stopped caring. They were quietly deprioritized in every catalog, every feed store recommendation, every beginner's guide published by a company with supply contracts to protect. The knowledge didn't die. It went underground, the way all suppressed things do. Waiting in university archives, in the notes of 1942 extension agents, in the breeding records of people who never stopped raising the birds the industry told them to abandon. That knowledge is your birthright, built by your grandparents' generation and stripped from the shelves before you were old enough to ask for it. Picture one Australorp hen at the end of October moving through frost-covered grass in the gray morning light, yolk orange and heavy, carrying 280 eggs of annual production in her body, like a working tool that costs nothing to run. That is what was taken. Every time you share this video, you are returning something stolen. And every subscriber who finds this channel is one more person who stops paying the dependency tax. The next vault goes deeper into the feed system itself, and into what the 1949 Ohio research actually proved that no one in the industry will repeat out loud. The archive is open. Walk in.